So we're going to throw fractions into the mix here. So keep in mind still the rules about parentheses, but if we don't have parentheses, and like raised to a power outside those parentheses, it's just a matter of reducing or dividing any numbers or coefficients that you have, and then those like variables you subtract, because we're kind of like canceling them out. Because if you have w to the 8th in your numerator and w to the 3rd in your denominator, 3 of them cancel, you're left with 5. So what you guys do want to remember, though, is that it's always your numerator minus your denominator. So 8 minus 3, w to the 5th. If that's the only x term, it stays right where it is. That's the only p term, it stays right where it is. So you can only subtract like variable bases to combine. So like for 21, 18, and 20, we're going to reduce 18 over 20. You don't want to divide. If it gives you decimal when you try to divide them, it means it doesn't divide nicely. You get 0.9. So you need to find a GCF that 18 and 20 are both divisible by the greatest common factor. They're both divisible by 2. So 18 divided by 2 and 20 divided by 2. So 9/10. And then your y's. Y to the 4th, y to the 3rd, subtract, you get 1. Your variable always stays in the numerator after you subtract unless it's negative. So if you subtract and you get a negative exponent, that's when you want to move it then. Otherwise, it stays right there in the numerator. So let's do number 20 here. Hide our final answers, simplified answers. So y to the 11th times x to the 5th over y times x to the 7th. Again, it's a single y. It's y to the 1st. If it helps putting that 1 there, put the 1 there. But your y's, so y's are going to be to the power of what 11 minus 1 is. X's are going to be to the power of whatever 5 minus 7 is. So 11 minus 1, 10. 5 minus 7, negative 2. So when you subtract them, we get 1y, 1 x term. That's good. That's the goal. We need to fix or move that x term, put that in the denominator. So it'll now be y to the 10th over x squared. When you move it to the denominator, make it positive because that's the whole point. All right, so when you've got a fraction with raised to the power, same thing. You're just distributing that in there to both of those guys. So if you have m to the 3rd squared, 3 times 2. It's in the numerator, keep it in the numerator. C to the 5th squared, c to the 5th times c to the 5th. C to the 10th in the denominator, both of them are positive. No issues, done and done. So 24, a 4, an x, an m, all are getting that power of 3. So we've got 4 to the 3rd, whatever that's going to end up being. 5 times 3, x to the 15th. 7 times 3, m to the 21st. Any number bases, you want to evaluate that and get what that number value actually is. So don't keep it 4 to the third. Go to your calculator, go to your power sheet, figure out what 4 to the third is. But your other variables are not alike. One's an x, one's an m. Can leave it as it is. Okay, let's do 25. I'm going to skip 23. All right, so how many terms you got here? A 2, an x, an n, and a y. All of them, all 4 of those terms, are getting that negative third power. So let's just go through it one term at a time. 2 gets that power of negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 3. X to the 9th. Negative 2 times negative 3. N to the positive 6th. Y to the 4th to the negative 3rd. Multiply them. Y to the negative 12th. Okay. We took care of the exponent on the outside. Now we've got to simplify this single fraction that we have happening. We have 2 negative exponents that we need to move or fix. So let's do that. So y to the negative 12th is getting moved to the top or the numerator, fixed. To the negative 3rd gets moved to the denominator, fixed. Only thing you guys have to do is figure out what 2 to the 8th is then. Oh, I said 2 to the 8th. 2 to the 3rd power is 8. So just write that as the final value. Don't keep it 2 to the 3rd. All right, one more here. So 26, the 3, the y, the 5, the x, all get the power of 3. So the numbers get the power like 3 to the 3rd. And then we multiply those variables. So 4 times 3, y to the 12th, 5 to the 3rd. And then x to the 1st to the 3rd. 1 times 3, x to the 3rd. Can leave the y's and the x's. Can't combine them, not alike. But get what 3 to the 3rd is. Get what 5 to the 3rd is. So 3 to the 3rd. 3 times 3 times 3. 5 to the 3rd. 5 times 5 times 5. And I do believe we can reduce 27 over 125. So we're going to do that really quick. If we divide them both by 3. I believe. No, 125 is not divisible by 3. Then that is good. So I know it can be a lot when we mix all the rules together, but it really is just 3 basic rules. Powers on the outside get distributed. When you're multiplying terms together, you add those powers. When you're dividing terms, you subtract. Other than that, it's just following your order of operations like regular math and going in the correct order, but obeying the 3 exponent rules that you now know.